This month's TBR is quite ambitious. Today is the first day of June and I'm so excited. I don't know what it is about the first day of the month, but I always feel so creative. I always feel happy, like I can tackle anything. I'm even more excited for it to be June because that means summer is literally right around the corner. Something about reading in the summer is just so elite. You can chill at a pool, crack open a book, go to the beach, sit there for hours and just read. So this month's TBR is quite ambitious. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to read every book that I have with me, but I'm going to try. With that being said, let's just jump right in and talk about some books. The first book that I want to read in June, I actually already started it last night. I couldn't help myself because it is the second book in a series. And the first book in the series is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I absolutely fell in love with this book, you guys. I did not want to put it down. It has a very special place in my heart, and I'm hoping because it is so popular that it gets turned into a movie because I think it would be the cutest movie. The second book in the series is obviously by the same author, Tessa Bailey. This one is called Hook, Line, and Sinker. This book follows Hannah, who normally lives in LA, but she returns to the town of Westport. Her sister Piper lives in Westport with her fiance. Also, her best friend, Fox. He's super attractive. Every girl that meets Fox wants to end up with him. So Hannah is obviously hesitant on taking things further with Fox because she doesn't want to ruin their relationship. Fox is thinking the same thing, even though they're both really attracted to one another. And it's just a very cute little rom-com. It's nothing super deep. At least it hasn't been deep so far. I'm on page 123. It is a little bit slower than It Happened One Summer, but I still have been really enjoying it. And the main characters from It Happened One Summer actually make a couple little appearances in this book, which is so cute. I love when authors do that. Again, I've just been really enjoying it. So this is the first book that I've started for the month of June, and it's probably going to be the first book that I finish this month. The next book that I want to read this month is called Shatter Me. I bought this last month and I can't remember what genre this is. I think it's romance, but also dystopian. I honestly can't remember the genre for the life of me. I probably should have looked it up before I started filming, but I'm going to read the back cover since it's a very short and to the point. But it goes, no one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the reestablishment has plans for her, plans to use her as a weapon. But Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time and to find a future with the one boy she thought she lost forever. This is a dystopian. It says it right on the back. I should have just read. But I've heard really good things about this book. This is the first book in a series. I think there's 3 books in this series in total, and this is the first one, and it's pretty unique in this TBR because I do have a lot of lighthearted romances that I want to read this month, but I feel like that one is not lighthearted at all. Speaking of lighthearted, the next book that I want to read this month is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This book is pretty old, but I've heard so many great things about it and I just never got around to reading it, so I'm really excited to read it finally for the first time this month. Lena is spending the summer in Tuscany, but she isn't in the mood for Italy's famous sunshine and fairy tale landscape. She's only there because it was her mother's dying wish that she get to know her father. All Lena wants to do is go back home. But then she is given a journal that her mom had kept when she lived in Italy. Suddenly, Lena's uncovering a magical world of secret romances, art, and hidden bakeries. A world that inspires her, along with the ever so charming Ren, to follow in her mother's footsteps and unearth a secret that has been kept for far too long. It's a secret that would change everything Lena knew about her mother, her father, and even herself. People come to Italy for love and gelato, someone tells her, but sometimes they discover much more. The main reason I picked up this book was one, because I've heard so many great things about it, but also this book takes place in the summer and I'm working on a summer book recommendations video for you guys, and for that video I wanted to include books that take place in the summer so you can read it during the summer and then get all the good vibes. And this one came up a lot for good summer book recommendations, so I'm going to read it obviously before I recommend it to you guys and give you guys my honest opinions on it. I think I'm going to love it. It seems like it's going to be such a wholesome story. I love those types of books. I just love books that grip my heart and that are just so freaking cute, and by the time I'm done reading the book, I'm smiling because it's just so adorable. I feel like this book is definitely going to be like that. At least I hope so. Well, watch it break my heart after I just said all of that. Another book that takes place in the summer is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is a book that has definitely gotten mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm really excited to read it because it's supposed to be like a mystery thriller type of book, if I'm not mistaken. The summary on the back goes, we are Sinclairs. We live at least in the summertime on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that's all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. Very simple synopsis on the back. I don't really know what to expect. I am trying to go into this book without any high expectations because, again, I've heard so many mixed reviews on this one, and I just hope it grips me from the start and then the ending is, you know, good. Another mystery type book that I want to read for the month of June is One of Us is Next. I actually read the first book in this series in April. I have it right here. This is the first book in the series and I absolutely loved it. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. And I've been meaning to start the second book for such a long time, but I just haven't done it. There have been other books that have grabbed my attention, but for the month of June, I definitely want to make it a priority to read this book. And I have super high expectations because, again, I loved the first one so much. So I really hope that this one is just as good. Let me see. Can I read the summary without giving too much away? A ton of copycat gossip apps have popped up since Simon died. This time is not an app though. It's a game, Truth or Dare. Phoebe is the first target. If you choose not to play, it's the truth and hers is dark. Then comes Maeve and she should know better. Always choose the dare. By the time Knox is about to be tagged, things have gotten dangerous. The dares have become deadly, and if May learned anything from Bronwyn last year, is that you can't count on the police for help or protection. Doesn't that sound amazing? Like, I'm really excited for this one. It's actually not as thick as the first book. The first book is a lot thicker, so I feel like I can probably get through this fairly quickly, I hope. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to read this book. This is definitely on the top of my TBR. Another book that I'm making a priority to read this month is A Court of Wings and Ruin. So this is the third book in the A Court of Thorns series. I read the first 2 books. Absolutely loved it. I'm not going to tell you guys what this book is about because if you haven't read the first 2 books, then me telling you what this one is about is going to ruin the plot of those 2 books. And this is the first fantasy type series that I've read and I've really been enjoying it. The only thing that has prevented me from devouring the series in like a week is how thick these books are. And each new book in the series just keeps getting thicker. I'm a little scared to start this book solely because of the size, but I feel like I'm going to love it. So many of you guys have said that the series keeps getting better and you haven't let me down with the first 2 books, so I'm trusting your opinion. Definitely making it a priority to read this book this month because I'm really excited. I want to know what's next for Feyre. But look at the size, like come on. Does the author need to make these books so damn thick? The next book that I want to read this month is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is a very popular author, but I find that people either love her books or they absolutely hate them. Here's the thing with reviews. I think that people should take reviews with a grain of salt. And yes, even my reviews. Take them with a grain of salt because not everyone is going to like the same books. For example, I absolutely hate the book Normal People, but a lot of people love it. So I always say to read a book, even if your favorite YouTuber or your friend or your mother, whoever tells you that they hate a certain book, just read it for yourself. You're never going to know if you like it until you read it, so you might as well just read it. How many times did I say read it in that sentence? But what I'm trying to say is that even though there's a lot of mixed reviews on this book, I'm still going to read it, and I still want to read her book, People We Meet on Vacation, because I've heard a lot of negative things on that book. But again, I want to read it for myself to see if I can connect to the book and if I enjoy Emily's writing. This one follows Nora Stevens. She doesn't think of herself as the main character in her life. She thinks of herself like a supporting character, like she's just there, which is why her younger sister Libby convinces Nora to go on a little vacation with her. Libby has hopes that this vacation will finally open Nora's eyes and realize that she can become the main character in her life. But the only thing is that Nora keeps running into this guy named Charlie. They've run into each other a number of times, but it's never been pleasant. I'm curious to see where this book leads. I really don't know much about this book except for what I just told you, the premise of the book. I'm really excited to read it, even though I am, again, a little bit scared. I don't think it's scared is the right word. Maybe intimidated. I don't know what to expect with this one, you guys. The next book on my TBR you probably recognize from my May TBR video, and it is The Silent Patient. I have been meaning to start this book for weeks now. I don't know, I haven't really been in the mood for a psychological thriller type of book, and I feel like this one is very much a psychological thriller. People tell me that it throws the reader in for a lot of loops and that the ending is completely unexpected. I do enjoy a good psychological thriller, but I have to be in the mood for it. I have to want to curl up on my couch and be taken for a ride, and I haven't been in the mood for that recently. So that's the only reason I haven't started this book, but I really want to start it for the month of June. I'm definitely waiting for a rainy day. I don't know, something about a rainy day and reading a thriller just gives me all the good vibes. And plus, June is the first month of the hurricane season here in Florida, so there are definitely going to be a lot of rainy days coming up where I can sit down and read this book, so I definitely plan to. If you didn't watch my last TBR video and you don't know what this book is about, it basically is about a criminal psychotherapist who is captivated by the story of Alicia Berenson's life. Alicia actually murdered her husband, and that was a complete shock to everyone that knew them because they seemed to have a perfect marriage. The only thing is that after Alicia shot her husband, she completely shut down. She hasn't said a word since, and the criminal psychologist Theo is completely captivated by her story and wants to get to the bottom of what made her snap and why she hasn't spoken a word in years. So I definitely think that this is going to be a really good read. I actually haven't really heard that many negatives regarding this book, so I do have a lot of high expectations and I hope that they are met. So really excited for this one. Okay, I have to go on Amazon to show you guys the next book that I want to read. This is the last book that I want to read this month. It's from Colleen Hoover and it's Heart Bones. Is it Heart and Bones or just Heart Bones? I don't see an A. I think it's just Heart Bones, but look at this cover. That cover is so pretty. I did order this book online. It's actually on the way. I'm going to quickly read the summary on the back for you. And it goes, Bia, can you guys tell me how to pronounce that? Bia comes from a life of poverty and neglect. Samson from a family of wealth. When the two find themselves spending the summer as neighbors, they soon realize money is one of the few things they don't have in common. Their bond is too intense to ignore, but with only the summer separating them from the start of their new lives on opposite ends of the country, Bia and Samson decide to stay in the shallow end of a summer fling. What they don't realize is that a rip curtain is coming and it's about to drag both their hearts out to sea. That last sentence, the whole reason I ordered this book was because of the last sentence. I already know that Colleen Hoover is going to have me on a roller coaster of emotions. She always does. Really excited to get that book in my hands so I can start reading it immediately. Those are all the books that I plan to read for the month of June. Again, a very ambitious TBR, especially since a lot of these books are quite thick. Let me know in the comments below what's on your TBR list for the month of June. I would love to know. Also, let me know if you read any of these books. I would love to know your opinions on them. I love discussing books with you guys because some of you agree with me, others don't, but we always have a respectful conversation about books, even if we disagree, and I absolutely love that. That is the great thing about books. Even though I may not like a certain book, you may love it, and we can still come together and talk about it. So I really love having conversations with you guys in the comments, and thank you to everyone who participates in those conversations. But that is pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my little community here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.